Hey there guys, it's your girl Amy, and today I'm going to talk to you about a time when parenting definitely went south. This is the case of a hit and run. Stay right there. So if you don't know this already, I am the mother of 3 children. I have a 13-year-old, a 17-year-old, and a 26-year-old. This story pertains to my eldest, my firstborn child, and she likes to call herself my test subject. She says that a lot of my parenting mistakes and lessons were learned with her, and I'm gonna have to agree that she's right. So on this particular occasion, she was around 16. She had recently gotten her license. I think actually it wasn't her license, it might have been her permit. And she and I were on our way to the laundromat. We had laundry bag in the car, and she was sitting there next to me in my truck. And she's like, "Mom, can I drive?" And I had never allowed her to drive prior to that. I sent her to a driving school. She got her instruction through them. I've never had that level of patience. So initially I was like, no. And she's like, "Come on, Mom, how am I ever gonna learn?" Blah, blah, blah. She convinced me. I said, okay. So she jumped in the driver's seat, and I moved to the passenger seat and fastened my seatbelt, and we went through the entire safety protocol of like making sure her mirrors were set to her height and all that, seat belts. She turned on the music, I turned it off. That was the ritual. And I crossed myself and hoped for the best, and we were off. So I don't know if you ever had one of those moments where something seems to be happening in slow motion, but you can't stop it from happening. Well, that's what happened next. I could see that Renee had put the car in drive. Her foot was on the brake, and she moved the gear to drive. But we were parked, and there were cars in front of us and behind us. She went straight to drive, and all of a sudden she removed her foot from the brake and steps on the gas, like steps on it, floors it. Boom! She ends up crashing into the truck that was in front of us, to the point that she knocked that pickup truck onto the sidewalk. Like, it was a serious collision. The front hood of my truck, we had a Chevy Blazer, it went boop, it like ballooned up, and I was like, oh my god. And what do? I jump out of the car and I tell her, get off, go on the driver's side, on the passenger side. And she quickly runs around the car and goes to the passenger side, and I proceed to drive away from the scene of this crime. Like that's what I was doing. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. I pulled out of there fast, and I got it wasn't a far distance. It was only, I would say, like 3 car lengths till 2nd Avenue. And when I got to 2nd Avenue, I thought, what the hell am I doing? Like, what am I doing? I am running from a scene of a crime, and with my child, no less. Like, what am I teaching this kid? So I just looked over at her, and she was, the look on her face, I know she was so nervous and so afraid for what had happened. but she also must have been mortified and entirely confused and disappointed that what her mother did was instinctively try to escape from what had happened. That was crazy. Anyway, I didn't end up leaving the block. I actually knew who the truck belonged to. There was this man who had a little carpentry shop right across the street. And I actually just I drove around the block because I was already on 2nd Avenue. And I parked right by the carpenter's driveway. And I explained to Renee that, we have to go let him know what happened. So we knocked on the door, and the man came out, and I said, listen, I'm really sorry. My teenager, she was driving my car, and she's a new driver, and look what happened. He could see across the street that his truck was on the sidewalk, and he looked curiously, and he looked at my car, which was so busted up. My front hood was totally lifted, and he shook his head a little bit, and we walked over to his car. His car was a big one of those flat back pickups, and as it turned out, Renee managed to knock it onto the sidewalk, but there was zero damage to that car. The only thing that happened to it was that essentially it got moved, but there was zero damage. And I just kept telling the man, I'm really sorry. And he's like, you know what? You got little kids. I'll never forget this. He said, you got little kids, you got little problems. You got big kids, you got big problems. And then he proceeded to talk to me about a time when his oldest son had a similar incident. So the moral to this story is you always have an opportunity to do the right thing. And in this case, I had to face myself and my child with what my action was. And to this day, I don't even understand why I was running away. I really don't know what was going through my head. But I am really glad that I caught myself, and I recognized that had we managed to leave the scene of that crime, right, and not take responsibility for anything, I was really teaching my daughter something very early at an influential age, and it wasn't something good. So I'd say to you parents, we're gonna make mistakes for sure. I made plenty of mistakes after that one, but like I said, it is never too late to do the right thing. I hope that this story was interesting to you, and if it resonated with you, if anything like this has ever happened to you, tell me about it in your comments. And also let me know, what types of things you want to hear about, because I really do look forward to hearing from you and reading your thoughts. If you haven't done so already, click that subscribe button right there. And if you enjoyed this little anecdote, give me a thumbs up. Don't be stingy. Until next time.